This program is rated PG. It contains themes and scenes which may not be suitable for very young audiences. Parental guidance is advised.
The doctor is in. I'm Dr. Freddy Gomez, and this is Medtalk, Health Talk. In the Philippines, breast cancer is still the most common cancer among women. And while there are no definite studies to identify its causes, our only hope is early detection. According to the Philippine Breast Cancer Society, 1 in every 13 Filipinas is at risk of getting breast cancer, making it the highest incidence in Asia. And despite rigorous campaigns to fight the disease, Filipino women still lack information about it. The perceived cost on medication also holds them back from seeking medical help. And with the number of cases continuously rising, how are we doing in terms of early diagnosis and screening for this said disease? And to talk more about this topic, we have on the program Dr. San Agustin. He's a breast surgeon and founder of Asian Breast Center. Welcome to the show, Doctor.
Thank you for having me.
Now, let's talk about statistics first. How big of a problem is breast cancer here in the Philippines?
It's epidemic scale. The numbers are very difficult to get. However, I have seen numbers as big as 1 out of every 4 women in the Philippines will develop breast cancer. And out of this, half of them will die. And 70% of those who die without treatment.
Now, you said 70% of them die without treatment. That's a big percentage. What do you think are some of the reasons why the statistics is there?
I think the primary reason is really due to economics. The economy in the Philippines is such that it's very difficult for the average woman to have access to good care. Some of the goals that we've set forth through the ABC, or Asian Breast Center, and some of them is trying to dispel the myths about breast cancer.
We'll talk about that, but you mentioned the Asian Breast Center. Now, you had a very lucrative and successful practice in the U.S., so you came here to put up the Asian Breast Center. Why is that?
Well, it depends on whose opinion you ask. If you ask my wife, she'll give you one clear reason. She says,
but I guess there's a bigger reason for you coming here.
Yes, there is. I have some very, very nice friends who have been asking me for the past several years is what can I do to give something back to the country? Well, I've been a breast surgeon for over close to 20 years in the United States, and I've been practicing for 40 years. And the main reason why I'm here is for the 70%, or approximately 3.8 million, who will die without treatment. And we put together this Asian Breast Center, which is a for-profit, for charity, perhaps the only one in the world, is strictly treatment of breast cancer. And it is set up in an ambulatory setting and affiliated with a major American hospital, as well as that in a local institution here called the De La Salle University.
Now, you mentioned also some of the roadblocks that hamper your goal in trying to treat many people. Could one of these roadblocks be probably some preconceived notions of what Filipinos have when it comes to breast cancer?
What happens here is the main belief of most women in the Philippines is that when you develop breast cancer, you lose 3 things. You lose your breast, you lose your identity as a woman, and then you lose your life. All of these things were true in the 1800s, but certainly no longer true now. There, of course, are different false notions about breast biopsies. They think that putting a needle into the breast will let air rush into the breast, so it causes the tumor to spread. Or if you have a tumor in your breast and it's malignant and they squeeze the breast during a mammogram, it might explode and then cause the cancer to spread again to different parts of the body. These are all myths and definitely don't hold any water in terms of being true.
So what do you think is the best way to get the news out that it is okay to have a breast exam or have themselves tested?
Well, you're a perfect example here. He's spreading the word around through news, through television, and the news should be spread out throughout the Philippines. The good news is breast cancer is now curable. It is 100%, almost 100% curable, as long as it's caught in the earliest stage, which is stage 0, which is ductal carcinoma in situ, or even stage 1. It is very, very curable.
What is the usual age group for breast cancer to occur?
If you looked at the overall statistics, statistics, over the age of 50 to perhaps about 65 is where you have the highest peak or instance of this.
Now, do you think one of the problems here in the Philippines as well, you mentioned economics, are there enough specialized breast centers here in the Philippines to treat the amount of women with breast cancer? Possible breast cancer.
This is so sad. It really is. In fact, this is one of the main goals that we have. From what I have learned, that there are many so-called breast centers, particularly in provincial hospitals or smaller hospitals in the provinces, that don't even have a mammogram or an ultrasound. This is something that we need to spread the word around, that breast cancer is curable. And the fear should not be in having breast cancer. The fear is having it and not know about it.
Is it important that the amount of technology available to the person is there?
Thank you for asking that question. You see, one of the problems that I've been having, even though I've been seeing a lot of people in the class, why am I trying to use that term, class A, or people who
can afford
to get early detection, and say, well, you know, doctor, I've been going to this particular institution, the specific doctor, and I've been getting annual mammography, and everybody tells me that it's normal, and now I come to your office and you tell me that I have advanced cancer. I'd say 55 to 60% of women in the Philippines have dense breast. Dense breast means that getting a mammogram is worthless because you really can't see through the haze, the whiteness of the image that you get. So that's the reason why we brought in an equipment called MBI, molecular breast imaging, which is a little bit better than the MRI. It picks up to 40% early breast cancer, and therefore, in this particular situation, you can detect early breast cancer before it becomes advanced and very difficult to treat. It's more affordable and has less side effects.
And with that, how important is early detection?
Oh, it's everything. It's everything. I mean, even if you look at the costs involved and the suffering involved, you know, the way we treat early breast cancer stage 0 now is we simply take the lump out while you're asleep. We radiate you with that IORT for 30 minutes, and then you go home. You're back to work in 4 days, and you don't get the chemotherapy. You don't get any other treatment. Can you imagine that versus you know, a year and a half of chemotherapy and radiation for every day for 6.5 weeks, and the cost is prohibitive.
We'll definitely talk more about that. That's definitely interesting, but we have to pause for a break. So when we return, we will talk with a young breast cancer survivor, her journey and motivation in battling this disease. That more when we come back.
At a certain age, there might be less hair, but also less baggage. There may be more pounds, but also more experience. You're less critical of the man in the mirror and more grateful for me time. You cut away all the bitterness until there's none left. Zero. San Mig Zero.
When Scarlett grows up, I want her to learn the value of money, hard work. I want her to know that security is not something you can just buy or inherit. You need to have the right plan, choose the right partners, the right bank.
Security Bank.
I remember my stay at the Blue Beach Hotel on the Gold Coast and the amazing view I had from my hotel room. But it's been a while. What if there's a huge building in front of it now? Thankfully, on Trivago, I can look up recent reviews for this hotel from Trivago's rating partners. Trivago shows whether these reviews are positive, neutral, or negative, so you can make the best decision. That's just one more way Trivago helps you find your ideal hotel. Hotel Trivago.
Hey, Monica.
Meet my mom.
For you, Monica. And Monica's mom.
Your smooth entrance deserves a smooth beer. San Miguel Super Dry. Brewed to be as smooth as your taste.
For this menudo dish, ang ating ginamit ay ang Pure Food Standard Juicy Hot Dog sa Jumbo. Kinat ko yan ha, diagonally ng mga 1 inch in size. Gumamit din tayo ng pork pige na menudo cut. Binabad natin to sa soy sauce for about 15 minutes. Pagkatapos ay nagheat ako ng oil, ginisa ko ang aking onion, ang aking garlic, at pagkatapos yung meat na binabad ko together with the remaining marinade niya. So mag-add ako ng 1 cup of water and I covered and let it simmer for about 10 to 15 minutes until tender na yung baboy. After which, I put in already the rest of the ingredients. Ang carrot, ang potato, tomato sauce, ang liver spread, ang Pure Food Standard Juicy hot dogs, and then salt and pepper. Yun lang. I let this simmer for about another 10 to 15 minutes until tender na yung ating veggies.
Nice.
Ganun siya kadali.
And welcome back to the program. We have on the show Miss Stephanie Puno. She's an entrepreneur, the owner of the Silly Goose Gourmet Pastry Shop, and a breast cancer survivor. Welcome to the show, Stephanie.
Thank you for having me.
And still with us also in the show is Dr. Norman San Agustin, founder of Asian Breast Center. Now, Steph, you are young. You live a very healthy lifestyle. How did you feel when you were diagnosed with breast cancer?
At first, I was shocked. I felt betrayed by my body. Of course, I was healthy.
Right.
I worked out. I watched what I ate. And so when I got the diagnosis, it was like total shock for me. Like, I didn't expect it to happen to me.
Did you feel any symptoms before you went to the doctor to have diagnosed?
I felt a lump one night on my right breast, but aside from that, there was really nothing. I just got comments from people that I was losing weight, and I just felt tired all the time. But that's hard to connect it to cancer.
Okay. And Stephanie, how old are you right now?
I'm 37.
37.
Yes.
Now, doctor, is this typical for a case like Stephanie's to be affected with breast cancer at this early age?
The answer is it's not very typical, but as you see, we've seen early breast cancer as early as in the 20s, but we normally see more patients over the age of 40 or 50 years old.
Okay. Now, Steph, how were you able to manage your journey, like from the start, since you were diagnosed until treatment?
Well, initially, of course, there was this period where you're so shocked that it's so tempting to stay there, to be like in self-pity, and to just not do anything, and to give up. I had two surgeries.
2 surgeries?
8 cycles of chemotherapy, and then radiation afterwards. So through all of that, my family and friends were there. We celebrated each milestone, each graduation. It was hard to give up, being surrounded by all that love.
Now, I'm sure your support group is definitely important. Your family is there for you. But within yourself, what gave you that motivation?
Initially, when I was diagnosed, I made the decision to surrender to what was happening to me, to accept that this is the path that I was meant to walk on. And I'm a nerd, so I wanted to learn what was happening to me and to be there each and every step of the way. So I wanted to understand. Cancer for me was a teacher. It was it opened my eyes to many different things and showed me what was really important in life.
Now, how did this diagnosis affect those loved ones around you? How did it affect your family?
They say that when one person gets cancer, it's not just that person, it's the whole family. Through it all, my family was there to support me, and we became closer.
Now, doctor, why do you think could be a reason why more and more younger women are getting affected with breast cancer?
I think there's just a greater awareness now that women are being diagnosed at an earlier stage. I think the incidence across the board is about the same. But one thing is, this case here today brings out some very important points. That if you look at the recommendation by the NCCN guidelines, that at the age of 35, one should have a screening mammography, and if there are no cancer risks, then you should continue doing breast self-examination every month, and a examination by a breast surgeon every year. And then after you hit the age of 40, until you get much older, you should have an annual mammography thereafter.
But doctor, can breast cancer be avoided? Are there any things that people can do to minimize the risk?
Well, Well, it's a difficult question. One of the things you can do is pick out the right relatives. And,
right. So
sure
one definite factor is the genetic component.
Well, yeah, but that's a wrong thought, a notion to say that if I don't do my breast examination or get screening mammography because there's nobody in the family who has breast cancer. The truth is, it's about only 15 to maybe 15% of women with breast cancer actually have family history. So that shouldn't be the line to draw.
With this earlier trend, what age can you suggest, doctor, that women have a breast exam?
Maybe at about age of 12, 13, 14, just about when you have your period. And then you should continue to do that until you're capable of being able to examine yourself.
In the case of Steph, were you aware of all this when you were a teenager and something? Was breast cancer sort of an idea that you would look out for or something like that?
Well, no one in my family has the history of the disease, so it's with the healthy lifestyle that I adopted, I never ever thought it would happen to me. I always believed I would live to the ripe age of 100 and, you know, like be perfectly healthy.
Right, and I'm sure you will, but I think that's the case of majority of women out there, that they don't really bear that in mind until they are a certain age. Now, Steph, how do you feel today, right now?
I feel great. I just finished all that treatment, and I feel like I'm slowly getting back to normal, like regaining my strength and getting back to normal life.
Well, you look great, and I'm pretty sure your journey will definitely be a fruitful one. Now, doctor, do you have a final message for our viewers out there?
Yes. Get yourself examined today if you're in that category, and if you already developed your breast, start doing your breast examination today.
And with that, Ms. Stephanie Puno, do you have a message for our viewers?
Like what Dr. Agustin said, be diligent with your examinations. Do a regular monthly breast self-examination. If you don't know how, you can visit icanservefoundation.org. There are videos there explaining how to do it. And no matter what happens, do not be afraid. It's best to know early.
Very well said. And also, doctor, people can get information as well through the Asian Breast Center?
Yes, it's asianbreastcenter.com, right?
Okay, yes. And with that, I'd like to thank Dr. Norman San Agustin for sharing your expertise with regards to breast cancer. And of course, Ms. Stephanie Puno, thank you for coming over and sharing with us your journey.
Thank you.
Thank you.
When we returned, we visited a school in Quezon City and saw how they made sure that food safety among the students is properly observed. Keep it here on Medtalk Health Talk, only on CNN Philippines.
When I run for public office, I promise to do whatever it takes to give all Filipinos a comfortable life, even if it means fighting powerful interests. Package 2 will lower corporate income taxes, especially for micro, small, or medium enterprises. I hope to sign Package 2 before the year ends.
Here's a quick tip for finding your ideal hotel. 1. Go to Trivago. 2. Find the hotel you want. 3. Compare the different prices for the same hotel at once. That's it. Easy. Hotel Trivago.
Join Sports Desk Quiz Night on October 26. Team up with your favorite sports personalities. To join, like and follow CNN Philippines and Sports Desk on Facebook and Instagram. Then complete the sentence. Tag 3 of your friends and don't forget to use the hashtag CNNPH Sports Desk Quiz Night. Make sure to set your post on public. 5 teams with 4 players each will be selected to play at Buffalo Wild Wings Estancia. Winners will be announced on social media on Twitter. Visit CNN Philippines Facebook page for more details.
Cerveza Negra incorporates that roasted caramel aroma that extends well into the palate.
I actually learned a little bit about it. If you want something mystical, a little bit more individual and unique, then you go with this beer. Am I right?
So it's the only one that has that kind of character among all the beers that you've so far described.
Yes.
Christian,
yes.
You like desserts. We have chocolate.
Why would you combine those two?
Cerveza Negra also has sweet and a caramel flavor with a roasted malt taste. Complement with the dessert because of the sweetness of it.
So you can take each and every San Miguel beer and end with your dessert.
Yes.
You can have your Cerveza Negra.
Hello, good morning, ma'am. Doc Freddy po.
Hi, welcome po, Doc.
Thank you for having us here. Inside the principal's office, everything is being monitored. From the school's entrance and hallways of each floor, up to the canteen where the food is meticulously prepared. Okay, Ma'am Elvira, so nasan po tayo ngayon?
Andito po tayo sa ating pinaka-feeding corner kung saan hinahanda ang mga food natin, prepare at saka hinahanda.
Nakikita natin lahat, naka-ready dito. Merong tinolang manok, chicken adobo, munggo, meron ding fruits. Sa dami ng mga estudyante nyo dito, under your wing, anong klaseng sistema ang ginagawa nyo para hindi lang masustansya ang binibigay, pero safe din ang pagkain ng mga bata?
Sa bawat school na puntahan ko, tinitrain ko muna maigi yung mga food handlers natin, and then yung ating mga cook, and at the same time, merong training na nanggagaling sa City Hall, sa City Health Department, sa sistema kung paano natin ma-accommodate ang lahat ng bata. They do not come here. We bring the food to them. So meron tayong mga food cart na tinatawag na nandun lahat yung mga ibinebenta na mga cooked food natin and other goods para ma-accommodate sa ang mga batang yon. Kasi you see, if you can see our canteen here, it's very small because we lack classrooms also. But we are prioritizing the health of every individual that we have here. Kaya nga, if you can see our people there, they are well trained. Meron din tayong mga menu na ginagawa ng bawat mga nutritionist natin kasi meron tayong mga teachers na in charge sa health, in charge sa mga science din. Then meron din tayong mga pinifeed na mga bata na libre everyday yon.
We can see here an example of our traditional Filipino favorite, the munggo. So it's a good source of protein. We have the pancit, and what's most important, which we want to see more in most of our schools, is the assortment of natural fruits. Food stalls and food carts are popular picks for most students. Aside from the variety of food one can choose from, the cost is much lower than that what can be found in more permanent establishments. So here we see various things being sold, from chips, from easily accessible food, to soft drinks, and to this, a very popular snack for children. Since most of these food stalls are found on the streets, many believe that the food prepared can be easily contaminated with toxins and organisms that can be harmful to the body. Anong mga common infections ang nakukuha ng isang tao with not properly prepared food?
Of course, ang most common dyan is acute gastroenteritis. No? Isa yan sa top 10 leading morbidity natin sa Philippines, especially sa mga infants natin.
Now, what exactly happens with acute gastroenteritis?
So with acute gastroenteritis, symptoms-wise, manifestation yan sa abdominal cramps, nasusuka, naduduwal, nausea, vomiting, and of course yung watery diarrhea. It's a result of ingesting contaminated food or water.
Dr. Dumblao mentions that even if they practice high sanitation standards in food preparation, the choice of food their students decide to purchase just outside the school premises can be a challenge to monitor.
On the extreme end ng gastroenteritis, sa complications ito, pwede mamamatay ang isang tao.
Yes, in fact, cholera is one of the top 10 mortality all over the world according to WHO. No? So maaring mamatay from dehydration. That's why nga nilabas nila yung oral rehydration solution as an initial treatment for at home that you can do. Pwede mong timplahan nga lang eh. So 1 liter of water plus 6 teaspoons of sugar and half a teaspoon of salt. Then you can make your own homemade ORS solution to address your diarrhea.
Ang food safety kasi, it is a concerted efforts ng lahat, from the processes of food, from the market to the kitchen, and how it is being handled and how it's being served to the, to the family, to the consumers. Kung doon pa lang sa raw materials sa ginamit ay hindi na maganda, double dead meat, botcha, okay, tapos hindi pa properly cooked. Well, naluto na yung pagkain, how it is being served? Baka naman 2 oras naka-standby yung pagkain na yan, mag-grow na doon ang bacteria. So maraming aspeto ka dapat tingnan eh.
Yung mga body meal ninyo, itaas nyo.
Nowadays, I'm glad that some schools prevent their school children from buying outside. Just as long as the school will make sure that their food supply is prepared healthily and sanitary-wise is optimum.
And in order to provide a healthy baon for the children, always remember to wash your hands and practice good sanitation at all times. I'm Dr. Freddy Gomez, and this is Medtalk.